Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ni hao ma, live, trance, and prosper. Hi, this is Dr. Brian David Phillips, and this is our real quickie hangout just to let you know we're here and doing stuff, and we'll see how this sucker gets started. Essentially, today we wanted just a quick introduction to simple Eroticatrance, which is a really neat thing you can do. Now, Eroticatrance essentially is, well, obviously, it is erotic hypnosis. Ooh. And we've had a lot of folks asking about this, so let's get to it. First off, erotic hypnosis, just like most forms of hypnosis, requires consent. And I'm going to say let's go with informed consent. The person really needs to be aware of what your goal is for them and what the session's all about. And you also need to make sure that that person consents to whatever it is that you're going to suggest with them and things like that. Now, I've had some folks tell me that hypnosis, that's just nonsense. Hypnosis can't do those things. When you see the videos of people pretending to have orgasms, well, they're just pretending. Well, they're not just pretending. They're experiencing an orgasm. The orgasm itself resides not merely in the body, but in the mind. And so you can intensify your erotic pleasure by thinking about it. So we know that. And if you're not intensifying your erotic pleasure through an emotional connection or intensified imaginative involvement, then your sex kind of sucks, dude. Because if you can get your emotions involved, your imagination involved in your sexual play or erotic experiences, things are going to go a lot better for you. And so make sure you think about that. Alright? Okay, now for erotic hypnosis, if you want to learn to do it well, of course, you can always just go to my website. It's down there. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff that teaches you how to do that. A lot of it's free. Now, I'm perfectly happy with you buying my training materials. Yay! But you don't have to. There's a lot of free material on my site. And I'm happy to help folks because I think this mission is very important in teaching us how to more fully learn to experience their intimate relationships and to let go and fully respond to their sexuality. And that's not BS, folks. I really do believe that folks need to learn how to have better sex. I agree with Wilhelm Reich 100% on that issue. Maybe not on everything he wrote about, but on that, I'm all for it. Now, when you're learning erotic hypnosis, you don't have to be a hypnotherapist, okay? If you learn straight-out hypnosis first, it'll accelerate things, and that's why we have a ultimate pleasure hypnotist training program where we start with just vanilla core skills and move up to all the way through erotic and then some advanced materials. But you can actually learn this stuff by concentrating on the relationship you have with a significant other. And so if you're not planning on doing shows or therapy or running around hypnotizing everyone you meet and whatever, you don't have to. You can just use some simple techniques, some simple methods to concentrate on your relationship with your significant other, and perfectly wonderful. Now, I've hypnotized a lot of folks And I've hypnotized a whole bunch of folks for erotic responses, both as an entertainer. I've done stage shows of an adult nature, but also as a therapist, as a hypnotherapist. I've helped folks. And then in my counseling work with the church, I've done quite a bit with that as well. Not the same one you think, but most of my erotic stuff is to folks in that regard, and it's very straightforward, very professional, very above board. I also have used these skills in my own intimate life, and that's private. You know, a lot of folks come to me and they say, Brian, I'd like to learn how to do this stuff, but yeah, I'm kind of shy. Well, that's okay, be shy. My courses require that you do practice work, of course, but you can always bring, if it's a live course, you can bring a practice partner. If you don't bring a practice partner, then you have a round robining. If you're not comfortable doing the full-on orgasm with a room full of strangers, then don't. But learn the skill sets. You might want to work with text or the audio video materials and work from there. But learning the material is actually quite easy. Hypnosis itself, honestly, hypnosis itself is not rocket science. It is a skill set and an art, but the actual core skills are rather easy to learn, and anyone can learn to engage their imagination in a wonderful way. It's just over time you get better at it, and that's where the art, the craft come in. Now, when I say that this material needs to be based upon consensual practice, I'm quite serious with that. Partly because, well, because I'm a big believer in consent, especially when dealing with erotic and adult situations. Consent is the way to go. But also because a person needs to be able to relax and surrender to the experience and let the trance guide will help them get to where they need to go. And if they're in any way blindsided by a suggestion that's inappropriate for them, then that's going to throw them off. It's going to throw the session off. And so you really need to make sure you've got that. And there's no reason why you shouldn't. Now, yes, when you use that word erotic hypnosis, that word hypnosis is there. And some people think it's like, through my eyes, you are now a babe. And that's not really what hypnosis is about. So you really need to allay their fears. I'm assuming that you're going to be doing erotic work with folks who are interested in having intimate experiences with you. And so if that's the case, then you're golden, because they should trust you enough. And if your significant other doesn't trust you to guide them through an imaginative experience, you need to be working on some other issues. That's the therapy part. You can work on that on your own, trust issues, or go to for your relationship, or just work on it. Work on it. But once you've got consent, you can do a lot of stuff. Understand that some folks have full-blown orgasms right away. Some people have all sorts of awesome experiences. A few others are kind of laid back and they don't respond fully. They need to practice a bit so that they can learn to let go. If you're doing fantasy work, that's great. I am a big believer in the closed guided imagery versus open guided imagery. Both are very useful. I use both of them. But one thing in terms of fantasy work you can do is allow the person to experience fully a fantasy as if it's happening. Now, if you do that, if you say, go ahead and let your fantasies happen, and you make it as real as possible, I strongly advise you not to ask questions about it. And certainly don't get jealous. And so if my significant other has a fantasy of being with someone like Brad Pitt or George Clooney, Cruise or someone else, yes, I'm an old man. So those are the names that come to me. If my significant other has all these fantasies, I need to understand that those fantasies. And so I'm not jealous of a fantasy. I'm not jealous of a daydream, just as my significant other shouldn't be jealous of my fantasies. Now, if you have difficulty allowing your significant other to experience those sort of fantasies, then don't go there. Okay? Use imagery that enhances your own experiences with one another. That cuts some things. You can also do fantasies that are definitely not realistic, and so you can do the Catwoman or the werewolf fantasy, where your body and you can actually experience those sort of things. And you're Catwoman in heat. I do have an MP3 on my site for that, as well as the werewolf fantasy thing, where you experience the shift and all that. Go into those kind of fantasies, or the alien fantasy, something that's not realistic, that you're less likely to have jealousy issues about, if that's where you're going. But you can do a lot, and you can do so many wonderful things with this stuff. So please consider, make sure you do some studying and practice with an appropriate partner, and be aware not to push the boundaries. Okay, stay within the comfort zone. Now, eventually, comfort zones, they do expand naturally. So when you start out, you might be doing some really nice vanilla stuff, and then later on, you're comfortable, you start doing the experimental stuff. I don't know what your relationship is. I hope that you find this kind of material helpful. Okay, and it's just a quickie for us. So bye-bye.